What sort of vehicle is the 2022 Honda Civic? What does it contrast with? The 2022 Honda Civic is one of the smash hit and most popular smaller vehicles on earth. Arising now in car and hatchback body styles, it's presented as a Civic LX, Sport, X, or Touring. The hatchback trades the X trim for XL, and the Touring for Sport Touring. The C model scaffolds the exhibition hole until the Type R shows up, however no roadster will return. Different compacts that come as a vehicle or hatchback incorporate the Toyota Corolla, Mazda 3, and Subaru Impreza. Is the 2022 Honda Civic a decent vehicle? With mellow style, a snazzy inside, and fine ride and taking care of, the 2022 Civic procures a TCC rating of 6.8 out of 10, preceding well-being is figured into its score. That puts it reachable for the top-scoring compacts in our rankings. What's going on for the 2022 Honda Civic? The overhauled 2022 Honda Civic shows up with sleeker and less stunningly nitty-gritty styling, combined with another more excellent inside. The vehicle currently plunges lower toward the front and is more enclosed off the back. The windshield and A-columns have been moved back by around 2 inches, leaving a long hood that makes the Civic look more extended than it really is. It has just developed by 1.4 crawls long, yet resembles a fair-sized vehicle from a good ways. The hatchback is 4.9 inches more limited than the car, with all of that length being slashed off at the back. Inside, a 7.0-inch touchscreen is standard, yet a 9.0-inch touchscreen fits in Touring and Sport Touring models, which additionally get a 10.2-inch advanced check show. Materials on the lower trim levels are amazing, with metal accents on a large number of the switches and a unique mark-safe material on the mid-control area. A clean whole cross-section board covering the vents isolates the upper and lower parts. It's pretty in particular. The motor choices persist from the 2021 models, with a 158 horsepower 2.0-liter inline-4 on LX and Sport manages and a 180 horsepower 1.5-liter Super 4 in X/XL and Touring/Sport Touring manages. A CVT sends capacity to the front wheels for most models, yet the hatchback offers a 6-speed manual as a no-cost choice for the Sport and Sport Touring. Turbos have great criticalness, yet the CVT drains a portion of the good times. The manual transmission puts it right back, in any case, and is the main transmission on the C and its wonderful 200 horsepower Super 4. The Civic's ride and taking care of have a refined energy, and even Sport and Touring/Sport Touring vehicles with 18-inch wheels absorb the roads. Gas mileage is a solid point, as well, at up to 36 miles per gallon joined. Inside space gives space to 4 enormous travelers, with a 5th conceivable in the rearward sitting arrangement. The Civic's front seats could utilize more lumbar cushioning, however in any case feel rich, over its value range, and the view out is extensive. Trunk space and back seat rooms take the handiness meter, as well. Each 2022 Civic accompanies programmed crisis slowing down, versatile voyage control, programmed high shafts, and dynamic path control. Vulnerable side screens and stopping sensors accompany the more costly models. What amount does the 2022 Honda Civic expense? Vehicle models start with the Civic LX for $22,695. It has power highlights, 16-inch wheels, a 7.0-inch touchscreen, and Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. The $25,695 Civic X hits the perfect balance with its 17-inch wheels, warmed front seats, and vulnerable side screens. However, the $29,295 Civic Touring gets a genuine look with its 9.0-inch touchscreen, Bose 12-speaker sound, cowhide upholstery, and remote cell phone charging. The hatchback LX beginnings at $23,915, trailed by the Sport at $25,115. The XL at $27,615 is $1,920 more than its ex-partner and garnish things off as the $30,415 Sport Touring. A decent games vehicle bargain, the 2022 Civic C costs $28,315, get the arrangement of summer tires for just $200 more. Where's the 2022 Honda Civic made? Vehicles come from Alliston, Ontario, Canada. Honda assembles the hatchback in Greensburg, Indiana. Is the Honda Civic an attractive vehicle? Less courageous outwardly, the 2022 Civic has a crisp, connecting with inside that hypes effortlessness. We give it a point for the outside and 2 for the inside, for a 8 here. The most well-known grievance about the last-age Civic came from the nearly baffling assortment of cut lines on its body. We gave it credit for its smooth extents, while we razzed it for the cuts and gills and wrinkles and folds that delivered the body marginally turbulent. Presently it's restrained, with a lower hood and loosened up rooftop columns that draw out the shape better. Far less lines slice across the body, the tail, specifically, and surprisingly the feline eye treatment of its side back windows has developed. Sport models can be decked out with spoilers, identifications, gleam dark trim, and body units, yet without the high-yield powertrains, the Civic admissions better in plainer pretense. The C wears unexpected guards in comparison to the vehicle, the better to flaunt the double tailpipes, a back spoiler and dark trim pieces add unobtrusive style, as eccentric socks looking out of pant sleeves. The hatchback gets a remarkable honeycomb grille front and center and slashes off 4.9 crawls of back overhang. This modifies the extents of the vehicle, yet the back doesn't look curtailed and the back glass tightens pleasantly into an inconspicuous back spoiler. The Civic's inside sings. As a preface to coming electric vehicles, Honda's spread out a basic lodge with a slight segment of honeycomb trim that conceals the air vents, which change without breaking a sweat. Lustrous dark trims consigned to surfaces not regularly contacted, and the dials and window exchanged have metal tips and associate with fulfilling clicks. All forms accompany a touchscreen, essentially 7.0 crawls on the slanting, however Tourings get a 9.0-inch screen that is one of a handful of the conspicuous takeoffs from base trim, that in cowhide. It's a popularity-based methodology that plays well with the Civic's economy vehicle obligation. The new Civic extends its powertrains from the past adaptation, with the hot Type R yet to return. With both of its motors, the Civic's speed increase takes a secondary lounge to its very much tuned ride and taking care of. It's a 6-here. Is the Honda Civic 4WD? No, all Civics are front-wheel drive. How quick is the Honda Civic? In standard issue trim, it's not exceptionally quick. The Civic LX and Civic Sport accompany a 158 horsepower 2.0-liter inline-4 and a CVT for adequate speed increase. It's slow from a get-going the line, and the CVT ends up the motor and allows it to sit in a piece of the power band where commotion interrupts more than speed. Indeed, even dialed into a driver selectable sport mode, it's an arrangement that requires getting ready for consolidations and passes, despite the fact that the Civic checks in at a light 2,877 pounds in stock structure. The 3,077 pounds Civic Touring addresses the other, more joyful finish of the presentation range. Its 1.5-liter Super 4 stages things up with 180 horsepower, up 6 horsepower and 15 pounds-to-foot of force from the 2021 release. It's not really disparate in feel from the earlier year's Super form, either, with more sure degrees of force. The great stuff's waiting until Civic C and Type R adaptations rejoin the family. There's uplifting news for enthusiasts of the manual transmission. The hatchback offers a 6-speed manual as a no-cost choice on both the Sport and Sport Touring manages. This transmission is a vastly improved counterpart for the turbocharged motor particularly, which doesn't actually open up until 4,000 revolutions per minute. The CVT attempts however doesn't keep the Civic in that range reliably, and with better command over the motor's RPM, the manual makes the vehicle considerably more responsive and agreeable to drive. Grip activity is on the lighter side yet the catch point is liberal, making the Civic an incredible vehicle for the individuals who are keen on figuring out how to drive stick also. The C comes just as a vehicle and just with the 6-speed manual, with huge impact from the Type R that incorporates fire-up coordinating. The 1.5-liter Super 4 returns in the C and makes a similar 200 horsepower and 192 pounds-to-foot. It's great for a 0 to 60 miles per hour season of under 7 seconds with a more touchy choke. A solitary mass flywheel replaces the heavier double mass unit in the active model. It makes the C jumpier off the line and speedier to fire up. The force top shows up prior at 1,800 revolutions per minute, from 2,100 revolutions per minute in the old model, and the more extensive power band restricts the need to downshift emerging from a turn in light of the fact that the power is frequently as of now there. The Civic acquires its stripes with adjusted and responsive taking care of. It's an advancement of a similar arrangement from the past vehicle, however this Civic sits 1.4 inches longer, which helps it feel significantly more steady. The front swagger and back multi-interface configuration has been tuned for better ride quality, currently a solid point, and it's the entire season tires absorb knocks well in any event, when they develop to the 18 inches on touring and sport forms. The guiding's additionally as per the ride and taking care of, and conveys a portion of the street through the wheel, however it'll make huge increases in Type R and C variants, if past predicts what's to come. The one drawback to the greater Civic? A hybrid-like turning circle of 38.1 feet, which puts forth stopping a greater amount of an attempt. The Civic keeps on developing as it develops, and it's almost large enough for 5 grown-ups. It's a 6 for solace and utility, with an additional point for its front seats, and it almost acquires one more for its huge trunk. Riding on a 107.7-inch wheelbase, and sitting 183.3 inches generally speaking, the 2022 Civic has overshadowed more established Accords in size, so we wonder whether or not to call it a minimized any longer. With heaps of glass and a low scramble, it offers an extensive perspective, making a course for the front travelers, who ride on physically customizable fabric seats in the LX model. The LX gets four front seats, while the Touring has four front seats and two drives. The Civic had heaps of reinforcing and great help in all ways with the exception of lumbar. The Civic